What if everything you were told about success was a lie? What if the house, the job, the degree, the approval of other people? What if none of that was actually making you happy? One young man, 22 years old, top of his class, full scholarship, $24,000 in his bank account, decided to find out. He burned his money. He abandoned his car. He donated everything he owned to charity. And then he disappeared into the wild. His name was Christopher McCandless. And the story of what happened to him, in the mountains, in the desert, in the Alaskan wilderness, will wreck you. It will haunt you. And if you pay close attention today, it will completely change how you live. I'm going to take you deep inside into the wild, the scenes, the quotes, the characters, the lessons. And by the end of this video, I promise you, you will never look at your own life the same way again. Let's go. This isn't just a movie. It's a mirror. And what it shows you about your life might be the most uncomfortable and the most liberating thing you've ever seen. Section 1. All right, let me set the stage for you. Into the Wild was released in 2007. Directed by Sean Penn, yes, that's Sean Penn. Based on the 1996 nonfiction book by John Krakauer. And the book itself was based on a true story. A real human being. A real journey. Real consequences. The film stars Emile Hirsch as Christopher McCandless. And honestly, this kid's performance is so raw, so authentic. It doesn't even feel like acting. It feels like you're watching someone actually live and slowly die. The cinematography, breathtaking. The soundtrack, by Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam, soul-crushing in the best possible way. Every element of this film was designed to make you feel something deep. Now here's what most people miss about this movie. They watch it and they think, oh, it's about a guy who goes hiking and things go wrong. No, this movie is about the war between society's expectations and the human soul's need for freedom. It's about the price of authenticity, and it asks the most dangerous question a film can ask. What would you do if you were truly, completely free? Most people are living a life they never chose. Christopher McCandless was the only one crazy enough to choose differently, and the world called him insane for it. Section 2. Okay, let me walk you through the story, but I'm not just going to summarize it for you. I'm going to make you feel it. Christopher McCandless graduates from Emory University in 1990. He's brilliant. His parents have big plans for him. Law school, a prestigious career, the American dream on a silver platter. But Chris sees something his parents don't. He sees that his father has been living a double life. He sees the materialism, the fakeness, the performance of happiness, while real joy is completely absent. And something inside him snaps. Not violently, quietly, decisively. He gets in his car. He drives until the car gets flooded in a flash flood. He leaves the car there. And from that moment, he reinvents himself. He calls himself Alexander Supertramp. He hitchhikes across America. He works at a grain elevator in South Dakota. He kayaks down the Colorado River to Mexico. He lives in the California desert. He meets hobos, hippies, farmers, and an old man who becomes like a grandfather to him. And then, after 2 years of wandering, he does what he set out to do from the very beginning. He walks alone into the Alaskan wilderness, into the wild, armed with a 10-pound bag of rice, a rifle, a few books, and an absolute unshakable belief that he will find something out there that civilization could never give him. Chris didn't run away from something. He ran towards something. There's a difference, and understanding that difference might be the most important thing you take from this entire video. He sets up camp in an abandoned bus. Bus 142, deep in the Alaskan backcountry. He hunts. He forages. He writes in his journal. He reads Tolstoy and Jack London and Boris Pasternak. He's alone, completely alone. And for a while he's happy. He's genuinely, deeply, purely happy. But then, the wilderness starts fighting back. The game becomes scarce. He accidentally poisons himself from a misidentified plant. The river he crossed on the way in, now swollen with snow melt, becomes impossible to cross on the way out. He's trapped. And in the final pages of his journal, he writes something that will stay with me forever. And I'll share it with you at the end of this video, because it changes everything. He went looking for the meaning of life. He found it, and then the wild took him before he could bring it back to us. But he left us enough clues. That's what we're here to decode today. Section 3. Now, let's talk about the scenes that will destroy you in the best way possible. Scene 1. The burning of the money. Early in the film, Chris burns what's left of his cash, around $24,000 in savings. Just watch Emil Hirsch's face in that scene. He's not angry. He's not afraid. He's smiling. There's this quiet liberation in his eyes as he watches money, the thing our entire society worships, turn to ash. The message hits you like a truck. We spend our entire lives chasing money. And here's someone who found freedom by destroying it. When Chris burns that money, he's not just burning paper. He's burning the invisible chains that most of us wear every single day and never even question. Scene 2. The conversation with Ron Franz. Ron Franz is an 80-year-old man Chris meets in the California desert. He's a veteran, a widower, a man who lost his entire family in a car accident. He's been living alone for decades, surviving on routine and numbness. And then Chris walks into his life. Their relationship is one of the most beautiful things in this film. Ron offers to adopt Chris. He says, "You're the most interesting young person I've ever met." And Chris, in his gentle, loving way, refuses. He tells Ron, "You should make a radical change in your direction and not wait for a distant time. If you're unhappy with your life, do something about it. But you've got to give everything." That line, that one line. How many of us are living like Ron Franz, waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right permission to actually start living? The right time is a myth invented by fear. Chris McCandless didn't have a perfect plan. He had a burning decision, and that is what separates the people who truly live from the people who merely exist. Scene 3. The final happiness. In the Alaskan bus, Chris writes in his journal, "Happiness is only real when shared." This is the turning point of the entire film. After 2 years of chasing solitude, of running from people, from family, from connection, he realizes that meaning cannot exist in isolation. He was right about freedom, but he was missing something, and it breaks your heart because he has this realization, just too late to act on it. Scene 4. The goodbye to his sister. The opening and closing narration of this film is done by Chris's sister, Corinne. And there's a moment near the end where you realize she never got to say goodbye. She loved him. He loved her. But the war between Chris and his parents became a war that swallowed everyone around them. This scene reminds you, people are going to be collateral damage in your search for freedom. That's a cost you need to consciously reckon with. Hey, stay with me right here, because what I'm about to share in the next 2 minutes is the part of this movie that nobody talks about. The part that completely reframes everything you just heard. Are you still here? Good. Because this next part, this is where the movie stops being about Chris McCandless and starts being about the conversation you need to have with yourself tonight. Don't go anywhere. Section 6. Best Quotes Deep Dive. Let's talk about the quotes. Because Chris McCandless didn't just live a life. He left us a philosophy. Quote 1. So many people live within unhappy circumstances, and yet will not take the initiative to change their situation because they are conditioned to a life of security, conformity, and conservatism, all of which may appear to give one peace of mind. But in reality, nothing is more damaging to the adventurous spirit within a man than a secure future. Read that again. He's not saying security is bad. He's saying worshiping security at the expense of your soul is spiritual suicide. How many people do you know? How many people are you? Choosing the safe path not because it makes you happy, but because the alternative is terrifying. Security is not the enemy, but making security your God, sacrificing your dreams, your authenticity, your aliveness on the altar of safety. That is the slow death nobody talks about. And most people are dying this death right now. Quote 2. The core of man's spirit comes from new experiences. Short, devastating, true. You don't grow in comfort. You grow at the edges. In the moments where you don't know the outcome. In the conversations you're afraid to have. In the risks that make your stomach turn. New experiences are not luxuries. They are oxygen for the human spirit. Quote 3. I now walk into the wild. The last words of his journal, before entering Alaska. 5 words. No fear. No hesitation. Just a man doing exactly what he said he was going to do. When was the last time you said something and then actually did it? Quote 4. The final entry. I have had a happy life, and thank the Lord. Goodbye, and may God bless all. This is what Chris wrote as his final journal entry. As he lay dying in Bus 142, he didn't write that he wished he'd played it safe. He didn't write that he wished he'd taken the law school scholarship. He wrote, I have had a happy life. Let that land. Most people on their deathbed don't regret what they did. They regret what they didn't do. Chris McCandless had 0 regrets. Can you say the same about the life you're currently living? Section 7. Alright, here's my final rating. Into the Wild gets a 9.5 out of 10 from me. Why not a 10? Because Sean Penn's nonlinear storytelling, while beautiful, can lose viewers who aren't paying close attention, and the pacing in the middle section could challenge casual viewers. But as a film, as a piece of art that asks you to rethink your entire relationship with life, freedom, meaning, and connection, it is virtually flawless. The performances are haunting. The cinematography makes you ache for open space. The music by Eddie Vedder is a masterclass in emotional storytelling. And the story itself, because it's true, carries a weight that no fictional narrative could ever replicate. This is one of those films you watch once, and it lives in you forever. Watch it alone, late at night, with your phone off, and then sit in the silence after it ends. That silence will tell you more about your own life than anything I could say. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Christopher McCandless walked into Alaska looking for the meaning of life. He found it. Happiness is only real when shared. He found it too late to walk back out and share it with the people he loved, but he left it in his journal. John Krakauer found it. Sean Penn put it on film. And now you and I are sitting here having this conversation because of it. So his journey wasn't wasted. His journey became this. Now, here's my question to you, and I want you to drop it in the comments right now because I genuinely want to know, what is your wilderness? What is the one thing in your life that you know you need to do, but fear or comfort or other people's expectations are keeping you from doing? Write it right now in the comments below, because sometimes just naming it, putting it out there, is the first step to walking toward it. And who knows, maybe your comment will be the thing that gives someone else the courage to take their first step. That's how it works. That's how Chris McCandless still changes lives. Through every conversation, his story starts. Now go live your life like it means something, because it does. If this video hit you somewhere deep, subscribe. Because we do this every week. We go deep to the stories, the films, the philosophies that make you think harder about how you're living. Drop your wilderness in the comments. I read every single one. Watch next. Related video suggestion: The Pursuit of Happiness. Good Will Hunting.